We'll get some of this kohlrabi in a container, and I'm doing the pickled kohlrabi first so that that's ready for our garnish for our pot stickers when they're finished. I got some kohlrabi that we already cut, so I don't need to break all these down for you. And I can smell my vinegar and my pickling liquid start to heat up. When you're doing pickles, you want to make sure that you have your exhaust on, because the vinegar can be kind of overpowering when it's boiling in your kitchen. So we've got our kohlrabi set aside, our pickling liquid is started. Now we're going to start working on our dumplings. So a couple of gloves in the bottom of the pan, and we're going to put it back on the burner and cook out the alcohol. I have about 3 tablespoons of honey. This is a local honey that I get from someone that used to work at Hinterland with me. Her husband keeps bees, so he makes his own honey, and it's fantastic. And you know, I would definitely suggest that if you don't have a local honey source, find one, because the local honey is always better than the stuff that you buy in the teddy bears in the grocery store. Unless it says it's from Green Bay. So I've got my honey in my beer, and I've got my mustard just waiting to have that added to it for our dipping sauce for our dumplings. So we've got our pot sticker filling, we've got our wrappers, and to bind these together, we need to make a real quick egg wash. A little bit of water here from my kohlrabi and pour off some of that. And we're going to crack some eggs into the water. So you're just making this is a really tough egg.
Remember, he's a professional. He knows what he's talking about.
Sometimes you just have to let things happen, okay, on the side. Just go with it. So we're making our egg wash. We've got a little pastry brush. If you don't have a pastry brush at home, get one.
A paintbrush.
There's a lot of reasons why you can use a pastry brush.
Not a paintbrush?
You know, if you get a brand new little paintbrush at the hardware store, it will work just the same. I need to wipe my brow right now, I'm sweating. Keep up with that before they dry out. And so you just fill them up. You want to be able to close them without being too full. But you definitely want to make sure that you've got enough in there that it's a substantial dumpling. You know, you don't want just all wrapper and no filling. So we're putting our filling in there. And then we're going to go through with our pastry brush and just do a light egg wash around the half moon of the top of the wrappers. I believe you can see that in the mirror. I can't see what you're all seeing, but I'm sure you can. So, wet them down, and you don't want to let that dry up too much because you need it to be wet. So then you just take them, lift them up, and you just fold them together, get any excess air out. And then what I do is I push them down on my cutting board and just kind of crimp the tops a little bit to make them look fancy. Because everybody likes their food to be fancy. So, we've got our reduced amber and mustard, and we're going to add our, reduced amber and honey, and we're going to add our mustard to that. And looks like I have a little more beer than I want, so I'm actually going to add that to this to make sure I don't make it too runny. Because you want to be able to dip your pot sticker in it and not have it just run right off of it. So if you mix it with the mustard while it's hot, it'll mix up really well. And then as it cools, it'll thicken even more. But if you can see that coming together, it's looking about right. So there we go. We've got our pickled kohlrabi. We've got our amber honey mustard. And then we're working on our dumplings. Our next step is then to cook our dumplings. It might be user error though, let's see. Alright, we're pushing it down.
Darn you!
Look at that!
Oh, I see. You pushed it down.
Push it down a little bit.
I don't remember that part.
Sometimes, you know, you just have, like I said, you have to work with what you have.
Well, you're not working with a lot right here. I can make toast, man.
Well, toasted. So, pan is getting hot. You're going to need a little bit of canola oil to fry these in. And you're just doing a real shallow fry. All you're doing is browning the bottom and then we're steaming the dumplings. So, it's not, they don't get greasy, there's not a lot of oil you're using, so it's, I don't know if I would say healthy, but, you know, it's not as bad as something. So again, like I said, when I put together this recipe, I was thinking of Packer parties. I was thinking of bratwurst and sauerkraut, you know? So kind of turn that into a dumpling, get your mustard in there, and kind of fancy it up a little bit with pickled kohlrabi. I'm going to do a little salad of tatsoi underneath. Tatsoi is in the mustard green family, and it just has a little bit of bite to it, so it'll kind of freshen up the dish with something I've done up here.
None of them made by a radio DJ, thankfully.
Nicely crimped. So, we've got our oil going in the pan, and it's going to just, there must be a little bit of water in here too. So you get your oil, if it's popping around like this, then it's definitely hot. Need your oil to be hot. So we press these down so they've got a nice little base. All you're going to do is start placing them in the pan. Fit as many in there as you feel comfortable. But you have to work fast because you're going to get shot by oil, number one. And number two, you don't want them to burn. So you kind of want them all to get a nice little brown on the bottom. You're just going to load these in the pan. As you can see, if you're cooking for a group of people, you're having a Packer party or something, it's easy to do large batches and not move the oil around a little bit and make sure everyone's getting a little oil on the bottom so they're evenly browning. This pan's not quite hot yet. If you've got two pans like this, you can do a couple batches, kind of convenient. So we've got a nice brown going. You can see on the bottom, I'm getting brown. You're gonna take your amber beer, pour some in here, and just throw the cover on. So we're gonna let those steam for about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and they're done. So basically, all you really are worrying about is making sure that the filling is cooked through, and the dumpling wrappers, you want them to be tender. If you don't cook them all the way, then the tips are going to be a little bit tough. But it's basically like making a pot sticker or ravioli or something like that. You know, it's almost a pasta dough.